to do. You're just my real dad. Dear Dad. Hi.
You can be
I'm not
Rolo.
kidding.
Hey, you have a third name to call me.
No. Jake, you're muted.
It doesn't matter. We're both the dwarves, you know.
Right.
Whatever.
There we go.
Call us whatever.
Thormud. That was well played.
Thanks, Acerson. Apparently I was muted to the stream. It wasn't anything important.
No, he was just yelling at us.
All right. Hey, internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Vi's Moving Castle. Dawnbringers Rime of the Frostmaiden, Season 5, Episode 23. This is, of course, part of our long-running Dawnbringers campaign that happens every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. And we are excited to be back with you once again. I'm going to real quick, before I forget, I'm going to hit this magic button and give you another domain die. Thanks to Big Bearded Nerd for raiding with the International House of Minis crew, bringing everybody over here. Thank you so much. That gets you a domain die. Look up above V's head. Let me make sure that V is actually in the right spot. Look up above V's head, and you will see that there are a number of dice plus a huge number next to it, plus 135. Those are, of course, our domain dice, a way that you, the viewer, can have an impact on our game simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, raids, all those kind of things. $5 tips, 500-bit cheers. All of those earn domain dice for the players, where they can do everything from re-rolling a die all the way through to a super crit, spending 5 domain dice to turn any hit into an automatic double max damage critical hit. They found those quite useful during many of the boss battles in particular. Also, I actually owe you another one because Cajun Kevin has resubscribed for 23 months, which means I have to reset the number here real quick. That puts you guys at 141 domain dice. All right. Of course, I want to draw your attention to the usual partners and sponsors. Jasper's Game Day and Initiative Coffee Company. You can see their information pop up for Jasper's Game Day as well as Initiative Coffee Company frequently throughout the game in the chat. Plus, there's tiles down below on how you can support Jasper's Game Day through your donations. Shout out to Talon and Claw, our channel sponsor. Type in exclamation point MTD Claw and get a link to their storefront where you can purchase fine dice accessories such as wooden dice vaults, dice rolling trays, DM screens, as well as a variety of other things. There's t-shirts there available now as well. Pick out your favorite stuff and use code MTD Claw when you go to checkout and get 10% off your order and help support the channel. I think that's it for the usual announcements. Other than, before we get started playing here, we do, of course, want to tell you, as we always do, just remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference whether you believe it or not. It's that simple. We realize there's a lot of reasons why people aren't okay, and that's fine. It's okay to not be okay. But you don't have to do that alone. There are resources that are available to you, and there's a wonderful new resource that is available when you type in !help, as Jeremy just did in the chat, and you will periodically see it pop up in the chat as well. No matter what you're going through, there's a lot of reasons why people struggle with their mental health. You can simply type in !help any time of day or night, whether we're streaming or not. That link will show up. Go there, type in to the search bar where you're from, wherever you are in the world, country, province, state, It doesn't matter. And they will return a list of mental health services that you can then click through and find the relevant phone numbers, text numbers, websites, whatever you need. And if you're in a situation where it can be risky to do that kind of a search and safety is of the utmost importance, there is a quick escape button that lets you escape out of the website right up at the top. So please do, if you do use that site, if you need to find help for whatever it may be. With that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. All right. See, I know Dwight's I like to think Dwight's sitting there with a stopwatch timing me on my announcements, as he's giving me a hard time in chat already. But I think I did that in like 5 minutes. So here we are, ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons. Let's continue on with our adventure. All of you were able to figure out what Vi was up to with this Chardalyn dragon, figuring out its route and basically set up an ambush waiting for this thing. As this giant Chardalyn infused construct, Belak the Malevolent, came hurtling toward the town of Dugan's Hole. You had already evacuated the town. You were waiting for it, and it was a hard-fought fight, but you were able to bring down the Chardalyn dragon before it could even leave Dugan's Hole completely. Unfortunately, during that fight, Fig was rendered headless, but Fig's consciousness, as well as Fig's construct sibling Archimedes, their mind stones were laying in the snow. Thorgarn picked up the pieces, and Thorgarn actually attuned to both of their stones and has gained some enhancements to his abilities, but also has a couple of consciousness riding passenger along with him. Also during that fight, you met a new ally in the form of the tiny winged kobold by the name of Rolo, along with her snowy owlbear companion. This delightful little kobold wizard that has explained a tendency to make things, including former party members, go boom. Nonetheless, they have partnered up together. The party teleported back to the Sunblight, to the fortress, to find that well, things were changed. The fortress appeared to be pulling itself apart. Vines were everywhere, and the whole castle seemed to be falling down. 1 second. Are we actually streaming?
Yeah, that's
We're
what Cole
buffering.
said. Getting buffered.
Back now.
I'm getting hit with some big time lag right now. Big time buffering lag, which is odd because I don't think anybody's here at the house. Nobody's using my internet.
I'm gonna blame Jeremy.
That's likely.
Jeremy did it. Jeez, Jeremy.
Yeah, I
Fine,
just want to
I'm
make
older
sure we're
brother, so I'm
actually
completely used to it.
okay. Now there is some of this is coming from my end. It looks like we're just going to drive forward with the usual. If it gets too terrible, we may have to continue on offline, playing amongst ourselves, as much as we don't want to do that. I said, Jeremy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's bouncing around a little bit. Just got a green light. All right, we should be good to go. Okay. So while you were back at the castle, you talked to Yuzdrael, who said, "Hey, we're getting out of here." Actually, you intercepted a fight with their tiny Chardalyn construct, and destroying it. Then Yuzdrael said, "Yeah, we're gonna GTFO. This place kind of sucks now." You followed a bunch of vines down the big the big chimney chute, climbing down, some of you flying down. And right before you got to the bottom, several of the vines attacked you because you weren't exactly the quietest on your way down. Some of you in particular. The irony is one of the noisiest individuals coming down the chute was one of the only ones that didn't get captured by the vines that attacked you and pulled you in. And we pick up with all of you in this icy chamber, entangled in these vines, including Thorgarn's owlbear companion steed, though Thorgarn himself is not. He is holding on, sort of hiding behind the bulk of the owlbear, and the companion Baron was not noticed. He is still hiding out in the the chimney. The hole in the middle of the floor is a jagged, roughly 20-foot diameter hole through which you can see terrain hundreds of feet, if not 1,000 feet below you, moving by, as this entire castle has been uprooted and appears to be magically flying through the air. Vi has just said to all of you, it is inevitable that you should all be brought back together. But wittingly or unwittingly, you will help her defeat Uriel the Frostmaiden. So you are all grappled. You can actually feel somewhat colder air pushing up through that hole in the base of this room, in the center of this very large room. Vi herself is suspended by vines, being held aloft, and she maneuvers her hands almost as if she is controlling puppets, and the vines seem to move and shift and bend to her will as she makes a couple of finger gestures, and two of the vines, the ones containing Talmud and Cantriel, move closer to her. And as you are sort of brought flying through the air, you're about 15 feet in the air, wrapped up in these vines, and she looks at you and says, "Ah, Cantriel, it's good to see you again. It's been a while. I have so missed hearing your lovely singing voice." Talmud, are you still avoiding the vegetables?
Well, he kind of like looks down at these vines, like literally wrapped around his body, constricting him. They tend to not be very good for my system, I found.
Well, it is very nice to see you again, though I must admit I wish the circumstances were different.
You mean not in a flying castle?
That part's quite lovely, actually.
Mm.
It's quite an impressive feat of power and magic to be able to bend the bones of the earth in such a way. Of course, the Durgar that came before, they did the hard work of shaping the stone into this fortress.
It is so impressive. You do best magic. Rollo's so impressed.
Rollo, you are pulled by a vine. The vine that wraps you sort of pulls you suddenly towards Vi as she makes this gesture. I don't recognize you. Are you one of my kobolds?
No, were that I was so lucky.
Cantriel and Talmud, you have some new friends.
Some who used to not be our friends are now our friends, and some who used to be our friends are now not.
And the kobold's mine.
Hmm.
To
You s-
protect and keep away.
I don't want...
Unless, of course, you have opening.
We'll see. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt any of you.
Well, you have a rather odd way of hugging old friends, then.
And you have a rather rude way of storming into one's place that they now call home. Of getting involved in their plans and trying to foil everything that they attempt to do.
Well, you did intend to try to kill a lot of people, Vi. To be fair.
I intend to do what is necessary to stop the Frostmaiden. Belak the Malevolent was a means to that end. I don't want to kill people. But if she doesn't have followers, if she doesn't have people worshipping her, sacrificing themselves to her, then she will lose her power. And the only way to take that power away is to take those worshippers away.
No. There has to
Very
be another
roundabout way of logic.
That makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Think
No,
about
it does. It does. It
No. If she takes one a life each month, and that's supposed to help sustain her, imagine what giving her a whole buffet full and a few fell swoops would do.
But once she's in charge, everybody know what to do.
If I take their lives, I take away the sacrifices, the potential sacrifices that feed her power. If I kill them, they don't give her power. The power is in the sacrifice. It's in the ritual.
But you become worse than she is.
Only for a season. Not everybody would die. And those that survive, they would be free of the Frostmaiden, and they would see the sun rise once again, and they would know that I did that for them.
Vi, as a druid, you, better than anyone else, would know what happens when an animal is starving. They move to a different place, and they begin feeding there. All you would be doing would be killing the people here in Icewind Dale and then moving the Frostmaiden to a different place. It wouldn't stop her.
No. Once she is weakened, it makes her that much easier to kill. Now, because you interfered in my plans, you destroyed Belak. Again. She is going to be stronger when we face her. That is going to make her a much harder adversary to deal with. And if you won't help me defeat her, then I will know that you have been working with her all along. It was on her orders that you interfered with Belak, that you have been brought here to keep her in power. Call yourselves the Dawnbringers.
You're making some grand assumptions there, Vi. You didn't even ask us what we were doing. You're putting words into mouths that haven't had a chance to speak.
So speak. Grace me, Cantriel, with that lovely voice of yours, and sing me the songs of your betrayal. What have you done since you destroyed my brother?
Save the lives of many.
And how many lives have you taken in the process?
Oh, a few that probably would have taken even more.
So you killed others to stop even more from dying?
Yes, but concentrated on the others who needed to die, not the ones who are innocents.
If they are sacrificing
Vi, if
themselves
you want to play the game
to
of my
Oriel's
chicken bow,
cause, are they innocent? Oriel would rule forever, powered by their sacrifices.
You want to stop this?
Are you trying to mind control me?
No.
Are you trying to convince
to get you
me?
to speak and stop speaking over.
Oh.
That's what I'm trying to do. No. Forgiveness is fickle. It's redundant. It doesn't mean a thing if it's not intended. You want us to help you with oral. Fine. Simple request. But it means we need to sit down and have a conversation and not hear you on your soapbox. And you can laugh in your
What is there to say? We're here. I have your
Get rid of the vines.
undivided attention.
Get rid of the vines and then we'll talk. Or you'll be left on your own yet again. And again. And again. And again.
Jake, I'd like to cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay. That is...
Sorry, it's a wisdom saving throw of 18.
Oops. Let's see. Wisdom. Nope, I'm going to use the green die here. That die sucked. That is a 15.
Ah, excellent. That fails.
All right, so you can read the thoughts. I guess, Kelly, when you cast it.
And I did probe deeper. That was the wisdom saving throw.
Okay, you initially learn the surface thoughts. And then when you... Where's that about probing deeper? Which line is that?
Second paragraph.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Sentence.
You gain insight into the reasoning, if any, of its emotional state and something that looms large in its mind. Okay. So, as you are digging in and starting to detect these thoughts, Cantriel, I want you to make a either persuasion or intimidation check. But I'm going to have you do so as at advantage because of this. There's something goes over Vi's expression and she seems momentarily distracted. Rolo, on the surface, as you first begin reaching into Vi's mind, an apt description is it's like trying to maneuver through thick brambles of disjointed and chaotic thoughts. There's almost as if there are more than one voice vying for attention in her mind. There's the chaotic, dark energies that seem to be fueled by this Chardolin that infuses her very form. Mm-hmm. And it almost sounds like voices arguing with one another, trying to be heard over the other. But you push deeper past that. And you see at the center, in Vi's mind, sort of this dark energy surrounding her, which is in her mind and in your mind's eye is represented still by a bright light. But there's this tendrils of darkness pushing in. And the most dominant emotion that's there is sorrow over what happened to her brother. But it goes deeper than that. You sense thoughts that this didn't start with the killing of Belloc. Vi lost a lot of family, all of her family, a long time ago, to a circle of druids that literally slaughtered her family, leaving only her and her brother behind. And they had a very close bond. And this sorrow over discovering, shortly after discovering that Belloc, the scourge of the Sunless Citadel, was her brother, the as yet to be named Dawnbringers killed him. And she was struggling with that when she left the Dawnbringers. And this seems to have fueled everything that's happened since, allowing her to, even though he's long since gone, Vi, you can sense that one of the voices that seems to be circling around her, poisoning her thoughts, is that of Gulthias. This vampiric entity that seems to still somehow have a hold on her thoughts.
Okay.
She believes that if she can destroy Ariel, that she can free Icewind Dale, no matter the cost, and whoever's left will see her as a benevolent savior, and that it will somehow redeem her.
Okay.
What'd you get for your roll, Cantriel?
With advantage? With persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
32.
Wow.
I am a bard, dear.
That's going to be difficult to... let's see, that would be... Let's do this. I don't think there's even a hope. Yeah, no, I just wanted to see how badly... You see this sort of shadow go over Vi's face. And all of you that are entangled by these vines, you feel the grip of the vines loosen a bit. And Vi sort of... Cantriel, Talmud. I am sorry. This is no way for me to behave. And she makes some gestures, and all of you are lowered to the floor. And Vi herself, being maneuvered by these vines, she lowers herself down onto around the room, to the north side of the room, and once off to the east. There's 4 of these what look almost like 20-foot tall parapets, and they seem to have areas. They lead off into other areas of the castle proper. If anything, they look like they were meant to be used to observe what was once the forge of this place. She lowers herself down onto one of those, so she's still standing about 20 feet away from you up above. But all of you have been lowered to the ground and released by the vines. And the vines that release you, they sort of uncurl and they slide away from you. But the whole floor is writhing with these vines. And there never seems to be a vine at any time more than a few feet away from you. Perhaps you'll find that a bit more comfortable. Now,
We can we can tell that this castle is flying based on just a feeling, or are there parts of the room that are missing that we can see? Like,
there's a hole in the middle of the floor where there was a forge that you can see the ground. You're high enough up, you can even see some clouds with the aurora reflecting off of them.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you're definitely. If you look through that hole, it looks like you're flying over the terrain. You felt the whole thing lurch when it broke loose.
Now that things are moving a little bit towards pleasantries, perhaps the rest of us can be introduced and we can have a proper conversation.
By all means, I apologize to the rest of you. I was distracted by the turn the conversation took. That was unfortunate. Please, introduce yourselves.
Yes, Vi, you, of course, you know Cantriel and I, but this is my cousin Thorgarn, Drown, Rollo, and of course Fick. Oh, no, no. Fick's not here.
No, not in so much. Now, what are you looking to do to stop Ariel? Because trust us when we say that we would like nothing more than to stop.
That is at the heart of our problem, Thorgarn. You say to trust you, but from what my eyes have seen, I have reasons to believe that you are agents of Ariel.
We see nothing other than you as, well, from my perspective, nothing more than a murderer. And I tell you, I have significant cause to not trust you is to do anything beneficial for the people around us.
You were victorious in stopping my construct, were you not?
Not until after it slaughtered our friend.
Look, Vi, you've known me for a time.
I knew you
I may
for a
be
time.
I may be a lot of things, but have you ever known me to practice deceit?
It is true. When we traveled together, you are a man of honor and integrity.
Well, I don't know about honor and integrity, but I certainly speak the truth. There's no doubt about that. Sometimes more than I should. My point is that if I was working for the Frostmaiden, I would tell you that that was the case. And I'd probably just smash your skull in. No offense.
Jake,
Yes.
can I make a stealth to get around behind her? I want to basically like slowly inch back and cower my way into the shadows and start sneaking around behind her.
She is currently up on a platform 20 feet above all of you looking down at you.
Mm-hmm.
You can attempt this. I'll just tell you it's going to be a very difficult check.
Okay.
Because you're trying to sort of slide out of sight into shadow while in plain sight.
Yeah.
But you can certainly try, as they say.
You can easily disappear behind Drown. She's
Right.
less than a quarter his height.
I'll give it a shot. Why not? 26.
Are you guys rolling with D30s?
No, I rolled a 19.
What'd you say you got?
26.
Interesting. You're small enough, and there's enough distraction going on in this place that she's either doesn't notice you at the moment, or is ignoring you.
Okay.
As
Either way,
you
I'm happy.
begin to slip out of her view. You're still down on that lower level, but you feel like you have moved out of her immediate line of sight.
Okay.
Talmud, if what you are saying is true, and keep in mind, it's been some time since we were together, and, well, I've changed quite a bit.
I can tell.
And you spent a lot of time dealing with dark forces. And I'm to just trust that you haven't been corrupted by those dark forces? All of you are susceptible. I can sense the lingering effects of Chardalin and Thorgarn here.
He had enough to fit into the palm of his hand, Vi. You had enough to make a dragon out of.
Your point?
That's a little bit of pot kettle black, isn't it?
My point is that you are susceptible.
I think your point is you're judging us about Chardalin after you created enough you had enough to create a whole dragon to send murdering to towns. You don't have a leg to stand on.
Thorgarn, I would caution you to watch your tone. You stand there free at my will and my pleasure. It does not have to remain so. I am not the one standing here, in this place now, with the mark of Auriel herself upon my soul. All of you have been touched by Auriel. I can see her frostbitten influence on you. She has touched your mind. You have talked to her, haven't you?
We fought her, yes.
We have spoken to her, and we have faced her in battle.
Disaster was probably more like it.
For some of us, that is accurate. She made us offers. No one accepted.
No one accepted. And yet, you came sneaking into my home without even saying hi. And then you left and destroyed my plans. The very plans that the Frostmaiden wanted destroyed. And we are right back where we started. I still have no
Almost
reason
as if
to
we're going
doubt.
Around and around. He kind of looks at Cantriel with like a knowing, like, round and around.
Yeah, Jake, at this point, Cantriel would start reaching into her pocket.
I want Jeremy, I want you to make either a deception or a performance check.
Are you sure?
I bet
Yeah.
both of those are awesome.
Don't forget they're lovely things that,
Yeah, I mean, there's 142 domain dice sitting up there, too.
they're just floating above my head to bring out my eyes.
All right. Give it a shot here. I'll spend a domain die to see if I can't get that a little better. Might not matter. Okay, so a 17
139.
total.
What was that?
17 total.
And you are trying to distract me, Talmud. Cantriel, make a stealth check for what you're attempting to do.
Okay. That is a 22.
She was able...
Actually, 24. Sorry, 24.
She was able with a 24 to insight Talmud to realize that he was trying to distract her. Which apparently, just realizing he was trying to distract her distracted her enough that a 20 is not enough for her to notice what you are doing.
Cool.
I had that success give her advantage, and she still only got a 20. So you are able to begin to reach for these bands without her noticing what you're up to. She hasn't noticed that Rollo has moved out of sight. The question that stands before us, Talmud, is: can we trust one another enough to fight side by side to defeat the Frostmaiden?
Well, do you have any information on how we would actually do so? Or the last time we attempted to, as they say, cross swords, we weren't really all that effective.
Ariel positions herself as a god, but she is a lesser deity at best. And I have learned how she is perpetuating this everlasting rhyme. She takes to the sky every night to cast her dark magics. And that's why we are flying to her at night to meet her and disrupt her plans. If she can't cast her magic, then she can't stop the sun from rising.
Well, it sure would be nice to see the sun again.
It's not like we see it often.
You call yourselves the Dawnbringers now, don't you? It would be quite fitting to actually earn that name. To actually bring the dawn. Thorgarn, you're bristling with armor and weapons, and the surly demeanor of a dwarf. Is that just for show? Do you not use these to fight that which bleeds?
I use my strength and the strength of my god, yes.
Talmud, do you not rage with the force of your ancestors, taking on their
Allegedly.
personas?
That's supposed to be what happens.
Cantriel, you have magic infused with music. And as I recall, we're quite swift with a bow. I don't know of these others, but all of these seem to be powerful assets that have brought you quite a ways. Not half an hour ago, were you not ready to take these very same weapons and use them against me?
Again, putting words in our mouth.
You were the one sneaking into my castle.
We came to stop you.
And this is my point.
Not the point of you trying to stop Oriel. We tried to stop you from destroying the towns. There's a clear distinction. It might not be in your mind, but it is in ours.
I was only doing what Oriel was doing all along, just much quicker. We're not going to go into that circular discussion again unless that's what you want.
No.
I can't help but notice how much quieter this group is without your paladin. You don't have a lot to say.
Neither did he.
You have been doing a great deal of talking. It is interesting.
Well, as it stands right now, we have some time before we will encounter Oriel on her path flying above the tundra. You can stand around staring at me like you want to devour me, or we can move on to more constructive things.
What do you propose?
Will you fight with me to destroy Oriel?
How do you intend to fight?
With everything I have.
And if we are successful, what of the animals and the town people?
What animals? The animals of the north?
Aren't you the one who took control of all of the animals? And
I didn't take control of the animals. I gave them thoughts and free will. I awakened them. I gave them the ability to think and decide for themselves. They will continue to do so. All I asked for was their service from time to time.
but you must understand of how animals that are not supposed to work together, working together, how it will upset the balance. When wolf and deer both have a voice, how do they eat?
You talk about balance in an area that is controlled by a god performing a dark magic ritual every night.
Yes, and we are looking to end one, hopefully this evening.
So what was your question, Thorgarn? What do we do with the animals? We let them continue living. Would you take away the gift that I have bestowed upon them?
No, but are you going to continue doing that? Are you going to continue your assault on the towns?
If Oriel is destroyed, then the towns will have been saved by us. Just a different way.
If we manage to defeat her, Vi, will you turn yourself over to us afterwards?
What do you mean, turn myself over to you?
Will you turn yourself over to us, should we ask it?
I'm sorry, are you some sort of authority for the realms? Do you speak for the people of Icewind Dale?
So far we have rid them of 2 dragons. So as of now, we speak for the people of Icewind Dale.
And you would do what with me?
You would stand trial, at the very least.
For what?
We're not getting into that. That's for the people to decide. Will you turn yourself in, or will you not?
Why would I turn myself in? I've done nothing but try to
cast
save the
Bigby's
North.
Hand.
Okay.
Alrighty. So I need a strength save from her.
1 second.
Mm-hmm. I believe it's a strength save. Yeah. And I'm casting it as the grasping hand.
All right. I need you to make a stealth check first.
Okay.
Because there are vocal...
Oh, wait, that was sleight of hand. Hang on. Wrong roll.
There are vocal components to this.
Yes. That's an 18.
You had already escaped her view. Okay. So she does not hear you casting this spell.
Awesome.
So you suddenly cast Grisby's... Nope.
Bigby's hand right behind her.
Bigby's grasping hand is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
I'm also used to saying Figby's hand. Grisby.
Grisby's jazz hand.
So that's a... Yeah, sorry, that's a strength save, you said?
There's the clip for next.
There it is. Yep, here it comes.
Yep.
All right, let's see. I gotta check something real quick. Yeah, that won't do anything. Okay. Strength saving throw.
Can you beat a 24?
I can.
Did you?
Well, by rolling, I did not.
Legendary.
However, Vi has legendary resistance.
Okay.
And can choose to succeed on a saving throw that she has failed.
Damn.
So you tell me what it looks like when you... What does Rollo's Bigby's hand look like? And how are you attempting to grab her? And then I will take over where it
what happens?
fails.
Okay. This dust sort of swirls up behind her, and it coalesces into the shape of a hand. And from within it, this white-looking dragon claw just appears, and it reaches out and it snatches at Vi.
The hand reaches and gets dangerously close to Vi. And is like close enough that if it could actually close, it would grasp around her.
Mm-hmm.
And at the last second, she seems to catch sight of it out of the corner of her eye. And it's not the movement of the hand, but the movement, almost this reflexive action of this. She has this cape of vines that seem to almost grow out of her shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And these vines sort of lash up, and additional vines around the room grab hold of the Bigby's hand and just stop it from being able to close around her.
Okay.
As that happens, the vines sort of pull at her again, and she rises back up into the air. You can see the agitation in the vines all around the room. The Chardolin that's infusing the vines is pulsing with this dark energy. And you see rising up from her neck, they were slightly visible, these dark veins of the Chardolin corruption. And they just... And you see her eyes sort of cloud over. And her voice seems a bit amplified as she rises up. I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt. And you used your words as distraction to send your wizard to try to grasp me, to try to contain me against my will.
No, so the bar could do this, and Cantriel throws it, and I rolled a 20.
You rolled a nat 20?
I rolled a nat 20.
Yeah!
All right. Okay. So this is going to happen.
If it matters, it's with the +8.
Well, it's a 20. It's going to hit automatically because I think you just have to make a ranged attack roll.
Mm-hmm.
And hit the target is restrained.
Yep.
So yeah, she rises up. You had pulled this bundle of iron bands out of your pack, out of your pouch, and you use this distraction and you hurtle it with deadly accuracy. And as it's flying through the air, it just suddenly, these bands just open up wide and they just grab hold of Vi where she is in the air. And all of these bands begin to just all around her, pinning her arms, pinning her legs, even severing some of the vines that were holding her aloft. And as soon as it begins to tighten up on her, she suddenly looks, her eyes wide, and you see a shift briefly. That darkness, the cloudiness moves away from her eyes, and you see Vi's eyes. You see them wide-eyed, the terror, and it's instantly they cloud over again. No! And I think the only way to resolve this fairly is to roll for initiative. Because she is going to get an attempt in here to try to break out of these vines, or these bands. So we're going to go into initiative order. That doesn't bode well. Yeah, let's see. Bum, 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 bum. All right, Drown, what'd you get?
19.
All right, Cantriel.
16.
Rollo.
30-20.
Thorgarn.
16.
Talmud.
That's 10.
Oh, I forgot. I always forget that Baron is hiding out in the...
Who had a 19?
Did you say about 19?
Didn't somebody have a 19?
Drown did.
Drown? Okay.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. His is... Oh. Okay. Wow. Baron actually rolled a higher initiative than anybody.
Nice.
All right, so that's going to be Baron, Rollo, Drown, Cantriel, Thorgarn, Talmud, and Vi. All right, so I would say Cantriel, and I would probably say Drown and Thorgarn, with you guys sort of being a little bit more, a little further removed from the immediacy of what's happening, in terms of general placement in the room. You see the movement out of the corner of your eye as Baron swings down on one of the vines out of the chute, and he has his short bow at the ready. As he swings down, he just slides it off, draws his arrows, and he immediately has his bow trained up at Vi, and Drown, Talmud, no, not Talmud, Thorgarn. Dang it, I thought I was going to get away with not doing it. Dang it. Drown and Thorgarn. Roll me insight checks. Or perception.
Yeah, I'd rather do insight.
Either one.
That is a 23.
14.
Both of you, you see something in the way Baron is looking up at Vi. And then he lowers his bow, not disarming it, but aiming it at Cantriel. Let her go.
It's not to kill her, it's to help her.
That's not
She's
going to
still
help her.
in there.
I know she's in there. You're going to kill her.
No, I want to get her out of there.
You're going to kill her trying to get her out of there.
Why would restraining a spellcaster kill her?
Look around you. You see all of the Charlatan. You see what it's done to her. How are you going to pull her out of that without killing her?
Start to get rid of the source from the outside. Work its way to her.
Baron is not taking a shot. He is holding his ground. He has his bow still trained on you, Cantriel. But for the time being, his turn is used at this point. Rollo.
I am going to wait. I am not doing anything this round. Just going to be ready with a counter spell if it's needed.
Okay. All right. Drown.
Where is Baron in relation to the hole in the floor?
Baron, let me bring up the... I don't have this map queued up so that I can show you guys, but Baron is about 10, 20, about 40 feet away from the hole and probably about 70 feet away from all of you. So picture this hole in the middle of this room. You've got this sort of 20-foot tower, this parapet that Vi is up above. There's about 30 or 40 feet in between, a floor space in between that. You are all on that side of the hole. She deposited you closer to her. Baron is on the other side of the hole, closer to where he came down from the chimney. So he's a good 70 feet away from you on the other side of the hole.
Got it. All right. With the insight check that I rolled, does it seem like he's under any sort of influence, or is this just sort of whatever decision or conclusion he's come to on his own? Is there any, can I get any indication of that, or is...
I would say with what you rolled on the insight, you don't see, like in Vi, you see clear signs of Charlatan influence.
Right.
You don't see that in Baron. Baron's everything about his...
anything that would suggest he'd been charmed or anything like that.
That's pretty difficult to tell, but he seems to be acting of his own volition. I would say with what you rolled and Thorgarn, you would have definitely seen this as well, because you rolled I think a 23.
Yep.
What you see in Baron is you see that there is a genuine concern for Vi. You see that it could even be love. To what degree, you're not sure. But you also see the reluctance that he has, almost this pain in his eyes at aiming his short bow at Cantriel. Like, the reason he didn't shoot is because he doesn't want to.
All right. Then I will, for the moment, focus on Vi. She is restrained by the bands, so Drown will hold up his hand and unleash 3 crackling bolts of Eldritch Blast at her. And these are with advantage because she's restrained. So the first one is going to be a 25.
Yeah. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. 25's gonna. Let me double check. Yep, 25's gonna hit her.
Okay. Then the next 2 will hit as well, as they're all higher. So I'll just go ahead and. So this is force damage. Stay on the table, please. Thank you. 15, 34 points of force damage in total from 3 shimmering green bolts.
And as these bolts hit her, you see them sort of, there's this weird play of shadows as this Eldritch Force energy strikes into her, and the light of these attacks sort of dances out from behind the multiple bands, casting these bizarre shadows around this chamber for a moment. And you hear this otherworldly scream from Vi as she's struck. This liars!
As a bonus action, how far away is Cantriel from me?
I'd say Cantriel's within 30 feet of you.
Okay. As a bonus action, I will create a tentacle, spectral tentacle, just kind of in front and a little bit to the right of Cantriel. And I'm done.
Okay.
And I guess for my movement, I'll start circling around toward Cantriel, kind of avoiding the hole.
You all watch now as several of the vines around the room are begin to move. You see in particular to the north 2 vines within probably about 30 feet of where you are, near that northern wall. Some of the vines sort of move out from behind other vines, and they have these large, they look like these large 6-8 foot seed pods on them. And you see 2 coming down from where Vi is held up above from the other parapet on the east, as a total of 4 of these vines with seed pods on them maneuver until they're touching the floor, and then the seed pods peel back. And you see 4 basically 6 to 7 foot tall kobolds with green tinted skin, and you see vines encircling their arms and their chest, and these vines are infused with the same chardolin, these shards of this crystal, as these are the corrupted kobolds that Yuzdrael warned about. And as they emerge, they are all going to take their turn, and they're all, oh boy, 2 of them are going to raise up their crossbows, and let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Talmud and Thorgarn are being targeted. As where'd my D20 go? There it is. Talmud, 12 is gonna miss you. 5 is going to miss you, Thorgarn, as these heavy crossbows come up and just shoot wide, missing you. The other 2 are going to open up their mouths and breathe outward towards where all of you are. And I'm going to need everybody but Rolo to make dexterity saving throws. 1 second. Let me double check that. That is not right. I think it's not a dex save. Come on, don't fail me now. I said, don't fail me now, and it literally says you failed your investigation check. Because I spelled Dragonborn wrong. I needed to check something against the Dragonborn. Where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, sorry. Constitution saving throws. As they are all breathing, exhaling these clouds of green poison at you.
Be with advantage then.
So yes, the dwarves will have advantage versus the poison. I'm gonna
30-20.
Go ahead and.
How much of a bonus do we get for being near Thorgarn again, or do we get? You don't have enough
Just-
paladin for that.
If you're within 10 feet, you get 1.
All right, I don't know if we're close enough. 19 then, without the paladin.
Okay, you're good, Cantriel.
Jake, I used a domain die,
All right.
and that then gave me an 18 instead.
All right, and Talmud.
Talmud got a 28 because I rolled a 20.
Wow.
Thanks to Ted for reminding me that it was
8, 11,
advantage for being
14,
poisoned.
19.
Hey, we haven't done a huge amount of poison in this game.
So 13
it's good when it
points.
comes up.
You guys all succeeded on the save, so you only take 13 points of poison damage as this noxious breath gets up into your faces.
You round 13 to 7 because we have resistance.
Oh, yeah, I round up.
Oh,
I round
that's
up,
right.
yes. So the dwarves will only take 7 of that. And that is the corrupted kobold's turn. Cantriel, it is your turn.
And I still have Baron with an arrow at me, right?
Yes, Baron is about 70 feet or so away from you, pointing his bow at you.
I got that covered.
Okay. Cantriel will just say to him, Baron, I am literally going to do everything in my power to get Vi back to us the way she was.
You're going to kill her. You might not mean to. But if you try to remove it, you're going to kill her.
And I can bring her back.
What if she doesn't need to be brought back?
I'm
What if she
saying,
just needs to
last
learn to deal
resort,
with it?
I can bring her back.
Then do it!
Then put the arrow down. So I can use mine.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. That is going to be a 27.
I'm not even going to roll my dice. So. I'm going to roll just to see what happens. He rolled on that one. You see Baron's hand sort of trembling. Don't let her die, Cantriel. And you see him release his arrow. As the arrow flies past your shoulder and hits one of the corrupted kobolds.
So these are kobolds, right?
They are kobolds they look like they're kobolds on steroids.
Okay, they don't count as like dragons, right? Just checking.
They do. They're dragonkin.
Well, then guess what? Semper Cavatina is going to start having some fun.
Yeah, they're dragonkin. Kobolds are dragonkin.
That's what I wanted to check and make sure that it was still classified. Okay, cool. Excellent. So she's going to, seeing Baron's arrow go past her, she's going to draw Sempre and basically quick succession, shoot one and then the next. So first one will follow Baron's and aim for the same kobold. And that is going to be a 27 to hit.
Yep.
And then that is going to be a total, including the 3d6 of, let's see, 12, 18, 23 piercing.
Okay. Your arrow finds purchase in this next to Baron's arrow. The corrupted kobold staggers backwards, but is still standing. It seems to be looking like it's trying to reload its crossbow.
Then next one's following its friend.
Did you crit again?
Another crit.
All right. Max damage, then roll all damage dice one more time.
Well, I'm laughing because I'm also seeing my logo and an 8 on the D8. It was a pretty damn nice roll. Oh, crap. I hate the mathing of this. Okay, so I have an 8 and then 3d6, so that is 18, right? So 18 plus
8 is 26.
26.
Plus any bonuses. Any of your...
That's 6, so then 32.
32. So then you roll those dice and add that, whatever you roll to that number.
So then 14, 17, 21.
7.
Wait, what? 21 on top of 32?
50, 53.
14, 17 plus...
Yeah.
21 on top of the 32.
That first arrow, you fire it, and it hits it like right next to the arrow that Baron shot. But your second arrow goes right through one of its eye sockets and pins it back against one of the big stalks of vine. And you just hear this clattering sound as the unloaded crossbow hits the ground, and it just slumps, held up by your arrow. You've killed that corrupted kobold.
Okay, then do I still have those? Yes, I do. Then she'll look to Baron over her shoulder. Now help me with the rest of them so we can help Vi, and she'll give him bardic inspiration.
Okay.
And now she's done.
Is that a D8 or a D10 now?
It is a D10 now.
Okay. All right. Thorgarn. Hold on a second, actually.
Oh, sure.
One of the vines is going to reach out and attack as a legendary action. One of the vines is going to reach out and it is going to attack Talmud. Talmud, that is going to be... Well, that die's out of here. It's a second 4 I've rolled on that die. A 15 doesn't hit you, I don't believe.
Nope.
So there's this whip cracking sound as one of the vines snaps right near your head, striking the floor, and you see a crack go across the stone as it just misses you. That is now going to take us to you, Thorgarn.
So I'd already started this in motion, so I'm going to keep at it. So mentally, I will command or suggest to my steed, and the owlbear will lumber over in between Baron and Cantriel, completely blocking her off from his view. And I will chuck Forge Fane over at the other corrupted kobold.
All right. One of the acid breathers, or the other one with the crossbow?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there were 4.
Yeah, there's 4 total of the corrupted kobolds.
Yeah, I will throw it at the guy with the crossbow. This is where I wish I was a champion, because I rolled 2 19s, so that would have been super sweet. So that's a pair of 31s to hit.
Level 13, folks. Yeah, the pair of 31s hits. These are like 4th edition numbers at first level.
All right.
It's been a good night.
It's 32 points of damage.
All right. Yeah, he's... You actually see some of the Chardolin crystals that are infusing his skin and vines. You see them shatter, and they seem to ooze with this sort of brackish looking ichor. Is that your turn then?
That is indeed. Yep.
Talmud.
Okay, so Talmud has reached back and pulled Gerta Braune off of his back, held kind of across his abdomen. But there was some reticence. He wasn't ready to charge in and attack Vi yet. Even though he knows that she needed to be stopped and taken down, he wasn't quite ready to let it turn to violence. But seeing that these kobolds have joined the fray and are dealing out quite a bit of damage, he kind of grits his teeth, and the tattoos begin to glow up his arms and across his chest, up his neck, and onto his face, as his face then contorts and elongates into a spectral mask that extends beyond his own actual appearance. And once again, we see the snout of another kobold, as Meepo has come to play. And Talmud Meepo is going to charge the nearest of these corrupted kobolds, raising Gerta Braune above his head, and of course, leaping, "I'm bad luck!" as he smashes downward recklessly. Ooh, that is a 27.
Yeah. Definitely a hit.
Right. You said these are fairly robust kobolds, like they seem pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, they're like 6-7 feet tall, bristling with vines and muscles. And
then I'm going to go ahead and roll my second attack. 22.
Yep.
Okay. You said they are dragons, so let's see. Oof, 19. All right, 32 on the first hit.
32.
Second is...
Were you hitting the one that Thorgarn had already hit, or going for a new one?
If that was the one that was closest, then yes, the same.
Yeah, that would probably be close. And with that first hit, you bring Gerta Braune down, and when you bring Gerta Braune back, the thing's head is non-existent.
Is there another within 35 feet of me?
Yep. One of the breathers.
Then, he brings Braune down onto this thing's head, kind of picking it back up with this wet squish noise, and then spins and places a hand on like one of the nearby vines and kind of vaults over it with this kind of noise, and then leaps upwards and like swings the maul up into the chin of the one that he can get to next. And that was 14 and 24 on the second one.
Okay. Yeah, a nice solid hit on that one, but it stays standing. Oops. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So, as all of this is happening and you are all focusing on these half dragons, Cantriel, you hear a metallic clang, clang, clang. And glancing over to your side where you heard it, back in its ball form, the iron bands of Bolaro sits on the floor. Roll me a perception check. Or you can use investigation if you wish.
Well, I'm going to go with perception, considering, and that's going to be a 17.
17?
Mm-hmm. Unless I, use a domain die. I keep using the domain die.
You see where the iron band was holding Vi. You just catch out of the corner of your eye, you see the movement as a tiny wasp flies up. And we will resolve the rest of Vi's turn when we come back from break, because I realize we're over for break. But Vi has wild shaped as a bonus action into a tiny wasp small enough to not be captured by this. I did, just for the record, I rolled a dexterity as the iron bands collapsed and hit the DC 20. That's on that. So we will take a short break, about 10 minutes, and we will be back to see what happens as the Dawnbringers try to save Vi. Thanks everybody who's tuned in so far. Please stick around. We will be back in just a few moments. All right, we're back. Vi has just wild shaped into the shape of a wasp. Cantriel has spotted this wasp kind of flying. I just imagine one of those shaky crash cams like you see in like The Expanse when you're following a starfighter flying through, and the focus shifts as we see this little wasp flying up near the ceiling. In the center of the room, actually in the center of where all of you are, there is suddenly a silent explosion. In a 60-foot radius, the most brilliant light suddenly bursts forth, and I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw. All right, Baron gets a...
I'm using another domain die.
Drown is also burning a domain die.
22, so
Yeah,
Baron's
I
good.
got a
right?
1 on that
All right,
one.
so
4.
wait, who all burns domain dice?
Okay, I'll take that. I did 2.
So 3 domain dice down.
Yeah. And I went from a 1 to a 20.
Okay,
Jake, you said con, right?
Con, yes. So Drown, what'd you get?
19
Okay.
or
Va-
20 if I'm near Thorgarn.
Cantriel.
22.
Rolo.
12.
Talmud.
I got a 19.
Thorgarn.
30-20.
Erna.
Oh, crap. Did not roll for...
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of 6s.
That's going to be a 16.
Okay, so Herna and Rolo have failed. You are blinded. You all will also take a certain large amount of damage. I rolled 12d6. 5 of them are 6s, so that's 30. 40.
Oh.
50.
Oh.
52 points of damage to Rolo and Herna. 26 points of damage to everybody who succeeded on their con save, as Vi has cast Sunburst.
Counterspell.
Oh yeah, you were waiting to counterspell.
Yeah. I was specifically watching to counterspell.
Okay. Hold on one second. I just double check. You're gonna have to roll for it.
Okay.
Because
I'm
it's
gonna be casting
anything.
it at 4th level.
Okay, let me just.
Yeah, we don't have spell slots big enough.
All right, so go ahead and roll.
Okay.
It's
That's going to be 18.
Wow. You exactly
On the nose.
hit it. So, no, I think Dan's the only one who knew offhand exactly what level Sunburst was. So actually, you kind of all, if you took 26 points of damage, you can take it back. As this light, you actually, what you see instead is this almost like a strobe. Like there's a mote of magic that's trying to burst. What does your counterspell look like, Rolo?
It is the air basically fills with these sort of like fractal looking snowflakes, and they coalesce and shoot forward and surround whatever is attempting to cast. It surrounds their hands and their mouths and crystallizes.
So you see
Basically
that
locks them for a moment and then fades away.
you see then what almost looks like a snowball form up in the top of the chamber where this wasp is, and momentarily covers the wasp, and it prevents the spell from firing off. And then as the counterspell effect wears off, you just see this sort of zzz as it sort of bursts through this shell of frost from the counterspell, as you just made her waste an 8th level spell.
I'll take it. Rollo is fearsome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jake, was she still in wasp form?
Yep.
Ooh, all right.
Yikes.
Again, I'm thinking there's not a lot of people that realize the ramification of that, but anyway, what else does she have? She did that. She did that. I always forget. Nope, never mind. Back to the top of the order. It is Baron's turn. Baron is inspired. Has the inspiration from Cantriel. And is going to take his 2 shots at the 2 remaining kobolds. And where's that D10? Should I use that inspiration? So he gets a... Oh, he doesn't need it yet. That's a 19 to hit, so that's going to hit the first one. The second attack, he crits on his second attack. So his first attack would be... Yep, so that's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7 points on the first one. And then as he turns over to the other one on the crit, that's going to turn that into a 18, 19, 20 plus, oh boy, 37 points. I rolled 665 on his 3d6. So, yeah, that's 18, 20, so that's 32, 37, 3. Yeah, 37. Yeah, he, just like Cantriel had done, he puts an arrow through the eye of this other one and kills that one. There's only one of the corrupted kobolds left standing. As Baron is beginning to move in closer towards the center of the room. He's probably about 10 feet away from where the hole is in the middle of the room. Still on the opposite side from all of you. Rollo. I almost called you Rocco because of the way my L's look on my sheet. Rocco!
How far away is the wasp from me?
Did you take to the air at all when you cast that spell, or were you still on the ground?
I got up on the platform behind her.
Okay, so...
That my whole thing was getting up behind her.
I'd say it's about 15 feet away from you.
Okay. Cool. Let's just see if we can get rid of some of these vines, too. I'm gonna fireball. Like you do. And, Rolla, steps out to the edge, to the precipice of this little ledge, and just throws her hands up, and the walls sort of ripple with that heat vision, and this white fire just cascades down across the bottom of the room and then shoots upwards and hits the wasp from below. I need a dex saving throw.
All right. That is what I wanted to see. That is a 18.
That hits it exactly. Does this also affect the plants in the room?
I mean, yeah, it's fire.
Okay. Then I guess they need to make a saving throw.
They're more of an environmental thing than they are living. I mean, they're living, but they're not like creatures that are in the initiative. They're an extension of the lair. So go ahead and roll your damage.
That beautiful bean footage.
I have no idea where that comes from. I just know it because everyone says it.
It's just beans. Roll that beautiful bean footage. That is going to be 37.
Okay, and she just hit the save.
Yes.
So that would be 18, 19.
Yes.
So the fire hits, and you see this massive explosion of fire just hit, and just the way fire does. I mean, fire wants to go up. And so you see this sort of rolling underbelly of this flame as it spreads out 40 feet diameter around the ceiling. You see several of the vines wither and curl away, blackened in the wake, with shining Chardolin gems sort of sticking out of the charred remains of those. And you see Vi, the wasp form is obliterated because a wasp only has a hit point. But you see that Vi, as the fire rolls over her, she doesn't seem that bothered by it.
Does she fall?
We'll get to that in one moment.
Okay.
Let's see. So that was 19, which halves down to 8, 9. So she'll take 9. Okay. You see as her form suddenly just, and you see her instinctively reaching out to grasp at the vines that were along the ceiling, but the vines are curling away from her as the fire devours them. You even see that cloak of vines sort of spreads out like it's trying to reach out to grab hold of something, but she's literally in the middle of the air at the top of this ceiling. She's going to fall 30 feet to the floor. That's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of bludgeoning damage. As she manages to, let me roll a dex check and just see. Oh, son of a! She lands unceremoniously. I was trying to pull off a 3-point hero landing, but with a 7, 8 for dexterity. No, she lands kind of unceremoniously, so she is currently prone in the northeast corner, probably about. She's within 30 feet of all of you, except for Rolo, who's up on top of that one platform. She's probably closer to 40 feet from you. Anything else, Rolo?
No. Nope, just gonna be watching and waiting for her to try to cast a spell again.
All right, Drown.
All right. Drown is going to take massive strides and charge across the uneven ground to where Vi is laying prone, you said?
Yes.
Or did she get up? No, she's still.
No, she's prone.
All right. And he's just going to wallop her with his staff of the sea, try and drive her into the floor stones. That one will hit, and the second one will hit. Actions, where's my stuff? It's been too long. All right. 28, 31 points of damage total.
30 what?
31.
31.
Yes.
Yeah, you're easily able to, and you see as you're striking at her, it's like the Chardolin and that cape of Chardolin infused vines is almost like it's trying to stop you, and you can see them sort of almost flash with this dark energy with every strike. But she's like trying to push up from the floor, and you're just hitting her and kind of driving her back down as she remains prone.
Right. Then as my bonus action, I will bring the spectral tentacle over and strike at her with it. Oof. That is a crappy advantaged roll. So that's a mere 17.
That'll hit.
Oh, delightful. All right, so let's see how she likes cold damage. 10 points cold damage.
The tentacle strikes her, and you see the familiar frost of the cold damage sort of curl and almost immediately begin to melt away as the cold seems to have no lingering effect on her.
No effect. Got it. Cool. And I'm done.
I mean, it does have an effect. It just doesn't seem to do as much.
Oh, okay.
So you do know that you did some damage to her.
Cool. Done.
All right. Let's see. One remaining checked kobold. Talmud, Thorgarn, and Cantriel. You need to make con saving throws. This last one recharged his acid breath or poison breath and is attempting to get you.
I rolled another 20.
I'm like, was that good or bad?
That's my
18
sex.
total.
13,
Nice.
17. All right, what'd you get, Cantriel?
18.
So you all save. So the half of it was 24 total, so half the 12, and then for the dwarves who are resistant, that's 6 poison damage. So that's that guy's turn. Cantriel, you're up.
Okay, she's definitely not liking what she's seeing. She also knows that Talmud is more than capable of taking care of that last little disgusting dead breath breather. She'll shout at him like, take care of that one like I know you can, and bardic inspiration.
I'm bad luck.
Yes, you are. Keep it going. And she'll look over to Baron. Remember, I am doing whatever I can within my powers. And at that, you see this collection of almost like mini bolts of lightning collecting in her hands. And she pulls her hands together, and you can actually hear this firing electric sound coming from her hands as she casts synaptic static on Vi.
I've used that one myself a few times. That's a nasty spell.
Yeah, it's 8d6 psychic damage.
However, is that the one?
She has to do a intelligence saving throw.
Okay, I'm going to warn you, because you would know this as a caster. You do not get to choose the target. It is a 20-foot radius centered on a point, and everybody in there has to make the save or be affected by this spell. That would
Where does she
include
fall in the room?
drown.
I thought she was further back in the room.
Well, drown ran right up to her.
Oh, that's right.
Drown's the only one that would be affected by this, actually. She's far enough away. The rest of you, she was 30 feet away from all of you, but Drown ran up to her and is standing right over top of her, having just beat down on her. So
Okay, right before casting it, she'd look at John. You trust me?
He just sort of casts a short glance over his shoulder, nods once, and then, just brings the staff up over his head.
So that means Drown and Vi have to make saving throws. Intelligence
Yeah.
saving
Intelligence.
throws.
It's just 16.
That is a...
I will succeed, but it'll cost me 2 domain dice.
Okay. Let me fix this to... You said it's a 16?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, intelligence, that would be a 15. She's going to use her second legendary resistance and succeed on that.
Okay.
So she
take
and
damage,
Drown
though.
will only take half of the damage and not get those secondary effects.
Okay. So then that is going to be... I'm still working on my total.
Jeremy, that's that one I cast when we were on the boat in the swamp, and I didn't realize it, and I hurt the whole party in Whispers and Fragments.
Okay. Yes. I knew I had heard of the spell
Yep.
before, but I wasn't familiar with it. I don't have a lot of the other books memorized, the spells from the other books memorized.
Yeah, so then it's going to be 30 total, so 15.
Okay. And you see this as you cast this spell with Drown standing over top of her. Whoops. You see Vi sort of holding a hand out like she's trying to stop whatever you're doing. And you almost see these waves of this psychic energy. She's holding off most of it, keeping it from going around to her. I don't want to have to kill you, but I will.
The psychic static washes over Drown, and he just sort of braces himself, and there's like a faint fleck of blood at one of his nostrils, and that's it. Use Stone's Endurance to reduce the damage he takes to 4.
Sweet. As Vice says this, is that the end of your turn, Cantriel?
Yeah, because I already used bonus action and everything.
You hear similar to when the iron bands fell. You hear something hit the ground. Ting, 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 as a piece of Chardolin breaks off, sort of, not even so much breaks off as it's just sort of like a seed pod falling away from one of the vines, and it drops to the floor between you and where Drown and Vi are, and you see it, and Drown, you see it, and then all of you hear this explosion as, for a legendary action, the Chardon Shrapnel is going to detonate. I need a dex save from Cantriel and Drown. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
That's a 20 for me.
All right, what you got, Drown?
No, I fail.
So, oh shoot, I gotta make a dex save for her too because she's in the effect
Or if you want.
range.
He's only got a +2 dex.
That's
Ooh.
So
she fails it as well.
Oh,
there's a bunch of spirit dwarves and kobolds that come rushing forward and place themselves between the Grenade and Drown. I'm going to use Spirit Shield with my reaction to reduce the damage he's going to take by 3d6.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay.
As long as he's within 30 feet of me, that is.
Yeah, I'll say he is. He ran off from where you guys all were.
But only went 30 feet.
So Jeremy, roll that 3d6.
All right, boss. We got 14 points.
Ooh, good roll. Thank you.
Now, does that what's the wording on that?
If you are raging and another creature you can see within 30 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to reduce that damage by 3d6.
Okay. So what you see is as this piece of Chardolin shatters and these crystal shards go flying everywhere, the spirits suddenly flow out from Talmud and begin to absorb a lot of these pieces of shrapnel. Cantriel, you're able to sort of shield yourself. A few pieces rip at your armor and clothing, and kind of one kind of arcs across your cheekbone, leaving a couple scrapes and cuts on your face. And you see Vi, who was still sort of on the ground, as the spirits only block what was going for drown, and they sort of pass through the spirits, and you see her hand and part of her face just take tons of these shrapnel wounds and begin leaking not so much blood as this sort of Chardolin ichor, as she takes the full brunt of the blast, sort of backfiring on her. That was a legendary action, so it's Thorgarn's turn.
So, pardon me if we can, backtrack a moment. The Chardolin poison, the condition, did we determine if that was like a curse or was that more of a disease? What had we determined it was?
I think I used remove curse to no discernible effect.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what it was you did do.
I tried to remove curse.
Right, but you did something to get the effect.
Something was done to fix both Thorgarn and Fake, because I was...
maybe it worked. I don't recall. I definitely tried to remove curse on both of them. I don't remember if that worked.
It was lesser restoration because Cantriel had it. Was that it?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was the restoration.
Let me just double check.
Disease or one condition afflicting it.
The rest of it might have been necessary.
Or was it the reverse of what we were thinking? It's either remove curse or the restoration.
Can you do greater? Greater restoration, 5th level?
Does anybody here have 5th level spells?
Yeah. I have up to 6.
Jeremy. I was going to say, because Drown and Rollo are the only two pure classes.
I have 7th. I have a 7th.
Just meaning that everybody else is
all right. Well,
of the magic casters.
I don't want to slow down combat anymore. You don't have the obvious answer. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna charge across the battlefield, and I'm going to grapple Vi and try to restrain her.
Okay. She is currently prone.
All right, so that is an athletics check of 26. And she can counter with acrobatics or athletics.
What'd you get?
26.
I rolled a natural 20 and still didn't beat it. She's putting up a fight as you run over there and you begin to restrain her. How are you restraining her? Are you pinning her to the ground? What are you doing?
Well, at this point in time, it's just grappled. I gotta beat her twice to get her to restrained. But I imagine she's taller than I am, so I'm like trying to lock down one leg and go.
Well, she's still prone. She hasn't gotten up from the ground yet. So
I'm going for an armbar kind of deal.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you got her. You beat her on the grapple. Anything else, Thorgarn?
Is there any of the cursed kobolds there?
There's one cursed kobold that's still alive.
Wow. Because of the counterspell, Herna is still up. So I'm going to have him, go over and make an attack roll.
Alrighty.
So that is a 15 and a natural 20 on the claws.
The 15 will not hit, but the natural 20 will, of course, hit.
So let's see here. That's 16, 21. Oh, that is 33 points of damage from the vicious claws.
Herna runs up to this cursed kobold and attempts to bite at it. It manages to hold up an armored arm and stop its bite, but Herna uses that deflection to swipe with the metallic, half organic, half clockwork. These claws rake across its gut, and you see vines with Chardolin infused in them come spilling out of this thing's abdomen as it collapses dead at Herna's feet. All of the corrupted kobolds are now defeated. Talmud. Oh, wait. Wait. Legendary action. A vine is going to come out from the wall and attempt to remove you, Thorgarn. That went it went out of the tray, so I'm not going to count it, but that was
Ominous.
that was a natural 20, but it went out of the tray and was kind of jacked up over there. Son of a... that's going to be a 17 to hit.
Well, because I'm grappling, I guess I would not be two weapon fighting, so that will actually hit.
Okay, that is going to be... what is it? 2. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of bludgeoning damage, and the vine wraps around you. Make a strength saving throw. Or sorry, an athletics check, not a strength saving throw. It would be...
It's almost the same thing. I'm gonna use a domain die because the 5 on the die I don't like. That's significantly better. 22.
If you want, as the vine is wrapping around you, you can maintain your grip on Vi.
I am maintaining my grip on Vi.
So you all watch as this vine rips down, strikes Thorgarn, wraps around him, and begins to lift him up into the air. And Thorgarn is not letting go of Vi. The two of them are lifted into the air about 15 feet.
So 22 was not successful?
No, you were You were rolling to hold on to Vi.
Oh, okay.
No, you're if you get hit by this thing, you're automatically grappled.
Sure, no worries.
So you are currently grappled. You also are grappling Vi now, Thorgarn. Nope, Talmud. I almost called you Thormud earlier.
Thormud.
Talgarn and Thormud.
Fusion anyway. Let's cut up the middle.
I said the damn words. So, God, I don't know. I mean, he's raging. He's gonna go over and attempt to clock Vi in the back of the head with the.
Vi's 15 feet in the air.
Oh, well then I guess he won't.
Because the vine lifted Thorgarn and Vi 15 feet in the air.
Well, then perfect. Right? No. So he'll strike the vine that's actually lifting them up then.
Okay.
Ooh, actually, I think he'll switch to Ghost Cleaver. So
gonna Jack and the Beanstalk this?
Yeah. For the time being, he'll just kind of, set Gerta Brelne kind of down head first next to the vine and reach up and grab Ghost Cleaver and start swinging at this. Ooh, that's a 18 plus. That's a 31.
Yep, that's a hit.
Okay, that's good. And a 29.
Yep, those are both hits.
Okay, so the vine's gonna take
Whatever damage you roll, double it, because the vines are vulnerable to slashing damage.
nice, perfect. Okay, it made sense. It's 11, so that's 20, so 40 from the first hit.
Okay.
The second is going to be 10, 11, 21, so 42 remaining with life.
Thorgarn, you and Vi will take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as you fall 15 feet to the floor. Directly in front of where Talmud is. Whoops. It's 1, not 15. And I need you to make your athletics check again to maintain your grip as you collapse. All my dice are betraying me tonight.
3.
I saw you cheering at that. Yeah, you are able to maintain your grapple. You sort of fall on top of her, pinning her to the ground. As you guys immediately drop to the ground. Anything else?
Meepo,
Talmud.
yeah, Meepo leaps up and down, looking down at Thorgarn. See, Meepo, bad luck. Meepo save you.
Okay. Let go of me, dwarf. She is going to okay. Yeah, this is what she's gonna do.
I'm sorry, but I have to do it. Is she gonna do it for the vine?
Is she gonna do what? What?
Thank you, chat. Specifically, Jeremy.
She is casting a spell. Move out of the way, you dialogue box.
Counterspell.
I just gotta double check what we're looking at here. Curse you and your counterspell. Alright, you're gonna go ahead and roll.
Yep. I'm going to... I'll just cast this on level. Oh, wait. This is the easier way to do it. Natty 20! No spell for you!
You all feel you all momentarily feel yourself getting lighter. You feel as if your feet are about to leave the ground, and then it goes away as Rolo counterspells the reverse gravity.
And that snow just cakes, that fractal snow just cakes around her mouth and hands momentarily.
Bonus action, using her second wild shape. Thorgarn, your grapple is broken as you are lifted about 10 feet in the air. And instead of grasping onto this corrupted human druid, you now have fistfuls of woolly mammoth hair, as Vi has just wild shaped into a mammoth. So that's a thing. And that is... Oh, you know what? Hold on, because she hasn't moved at all. She is going to... She already used her action to cast. Okay. She is going to charge 40 feet, so that's going to draw opportunity attacks from Drown and Thorgarn. Nope, Talmud. Thorgarn, you're still on via the mammoth. What are you doing, Pete? I just looked up to see you peeking over the edge. So go ahead, tell Thorgarn, and nope, I was right the first time. I'm so befuddled. Talmud and Drown, make your opportunity attacks against the mammoth form.
All right, I have struck the mammoth with a 31. Rolled a 19.
Yep, that's definitely a hit.
What's the mammoth is huge?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna burn a pack magic slot to Eldritch Smite it and knock it prone.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, and correction, she would only move 20 feet because she was still prone. So half of that movement would have been used to get up from the prone form.
Right.
As a mammoth.
Now it's going to be 10 if she would like to get up again.
So you smite her and knock her prone.
Yep.
Okay. And Talmud?
I'm assuming that.
Wait, how much
22
damage
hits.
did you do? Drown.
Holy shit. On 78, that's 4 8s and a 7 and a 4 and a 1. Okay. Well, that's a lot of damage.
What attack did you do against her?
Just a smack with the quarterstaff plus an Eldritch Smite.
Oh, it's the Eldritch Smite, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Eldritch Smite. It's a D8 plus a D8 for every spell level, so that's 68.
Okay. So how much damage?
A lot of damage on those. All right, 16, 32, 36, 37, 44, 56 damage and knocked prone.
All right, so the mammoth.
Clap of Eldritch energy.
So actually, before, because Talmud, you also have to get your opportunity attack off.
I'm assuming that a 22 hits.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I dealt 18 points of damage.
All right. So yeah, the mammoth starts to charge, and the attacks plus the smite drive it to its knees, and it skitters, barely being able to get up to momentum. So Thorgarn, you're good if you want to keep holding on. So that's the end of her turn.
We like riding big monsters. This is
Yeah,
I dig it.
yeah. We've established this.
Sometimes you just need to hug a mammoth.
Baron is going to maneuver around to the north side of the hole in the floor, and he's put away his bow and he's drawn his great sword, and he's just sort of holding it at the ready, and he's kind of watching what's going on, and he's still not sure. He's going to hold an action for what you don't know, but he's not taking any action against anyone this turn. So Rollo.
Rollo's going to test a theory, or I guess answer a question would be a better way to put it. I would like to cast Shatter on her.
Okay.
She's all crystally. Let's see how she likes this. So that's a Constitution saving throw from her of 18 is the number you're looking to beat.
Thorgarn's going to have to make that save too.
No, he doesn't. Spell shaping.
Ah, there you go. That is, you said con save.
Yes.
What's the DC?
18.
That's a 17. So she's going to use her last legendary resistance to succeed on that, though. Okay. Before you cheer too much.
Curses! Bonus action. Bigby's hand has just been chilling up on that ledge for a while. It's going to come down and try to... Oh, wait. I got to check on the size on that, though. I don't think the size can grasp her.
She would still take... She'll still take half damage on your shatter, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So it was 36, so that'll be...
So 18.
18. Yeah. Forgot about that.
And I'll say you even notice a handful of the infused Chardolin crystals on her body actually shatter as well.
Awesome. That's what I was hoping to find out. The hand is going to grasp at her. It can't... Oh, wait, that just means I have advantage, so it can grasp her. So, yeah, that would be a, I guess, an opposed grappling check.
Why is this not loading?
I got a 21.
Okay, so that's straight. Okay, straight. Well, that's not gonna matter. Yeah, that's a fail.
Okay, so she's grappled by the hand, and it's like reaching around so that it's avoiding Talmud and
Thorgarn.
just rest. Or no, I did it. It's your fault. I'm blaming you.
There's a slight bit of
from you,
vindication.
Dad.
Well played. Well played.
It's gonna grasp so that he's like right here around the fingers, and it's holding her.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to break Katie.
No. We'll just keep that between us.
Yeah.
So, is that the end of your turn?
Between us and the mammoth, anyway.
Yeah. I'm staying where I am, so no movement. Or actually, I'm gonna fly up a little bit, like toward the middle of the cavern, so that if she does something to take off again, because I don't know, she just used her last wild shape, so I'm just gonna hover and basically be ready to go after her. Oh
From one of the walls, there is a sound as another piece of Chardolin jettisons out from one of the vines. It arcs through the air about 15 feet below you, Rollo. And that's going to catch Rollo, Talmud, Drown, and Cantriel in the blast. You all need to make dex saving throws.
She also takes damage from that, by the way.
Oh, for the... Oh, yeah. 2d6 plus your spellcasting modifier.
Yeah, so she's going to take 11.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot about that. And you needed a what saving throw?
I need a dex saving throw from everybody.
I'm going to use...
And this is a source we can see?
Yeah, it's another one of the Chardolin shrapnel bombs, grenades.
I'm going to use a domain dice.
All right. Drown, what you got?
I'm burning 2 domain dice to get a 19.
Okay. Cantriel?
20.
Rollo?
17.
Talmud?
A 16.
Talmud and Rolo, you fail.
Oh no! I
Um,
don't like failing.
so
Me
that's
neither.
6, 7,
You bet.
10, 13, 18, 19, 20, 27 to those that failed of piercing damage. And that'll be 14 for you because you're raging, Talmud. And then 14 for those of you that saved. The rest of you. As another one of these legendary actions goes off. So let's see. That was a vine in that. Okay, so that's that.
I don't like it.
Drown.
Yes, hello. All right. The Vi is still in mammoth form, correct?
Yes.
And the mammoth has trundled some amount of feet away from me after getting up a second time. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, it didn't actually get up a second time.
Oh, it didn't.
It's
It
still
didn't.
prone
It's
from
just-
your attack.
Got it. Okay. Just laying there, resigned. Okay. Well, then Drown will just sort of attempt to drive the mammoth into the ground like a tent peg. So make 2 packed weapon attacks. That's going to be a hit and a crit.
Okay.
Plus 24. Wait, sorry. We do crits like max damage. Plus
Max
1
damage, and then you re-roll. That's
Yep.
max, including modifiers. Then you re-roll any dice
Yep.
and add that.
All right. So that's going to be 20, 32, 39, 45 between those 2 hits.
All right.
And
That's a lot.
is a lot.
The,
and I
the
guess
mammoth form's
the,
still
hey,
holding on, though.
Hey, the mammoth isn't immune to cold, probably. I will smack it with my spectral tentacle. Every hit for 9 cold damage.
Whoops, not 96. 9.
No.
Okay, yeah. You hit it with the tentacle, and you see the damage. Strike it.
Okay, and I'm done.
They're dead. Cantriel, you're up.
And I can't find the mouse. Okay, so geez Louise here. There's nothing left to kill. She is going to. What's going on here? Sorry, my sheet is doing a thing. All right, she's actually going to cast Bane on Vi to start whittling away on her a little bit. So she has to make a charisma saving throw.
I don't know how that happened. I went to type Bane because I always have a compendium open, and my fingers typed a boner.
Nice.
I'm sure it has nothing to do with chat.
No,
Yeah.
nothing at all to do with what we've been.
The question is, did D&D Beyond bring anything
Up
back?
something.
No, you failed your investigation check.
You don't have any game.
All right, so you said
We're not statting that.
right. Hold on. Clearing the cache of all the jokes that are surfacing. Move. That was a charisma saving throw, you said?
Mm-hmm.
What's the DC? 'Cause
16.
I rolled a 16.
You could always try rolling again.
Yeah, I could. Let's see. That'll put you
They're
down to
pretty.
128. So let's change this to 25. Okay, and then give me 2 of those. Oh, that'd be 3. 29. Do my math right. So we'll re-roll it.
Math.
That time it becomes, I should have stuck with the digital dice. 7.
Yes.
So she's now Bane. Let me grab a D4. Okay. Anything else, Cantriel?
No. At this point.
Thorgarn.
Well, I mean, if we're trying to get her out of wild shape form, I'm gonna first have Herna come over and give a smacky smack. Imagine this is not gonna go so well. It's a 13 on
It's a hit.
the. Oh, okay, never mind. So they both are gonna hit. So it's 2 those, 1 those. That's a total of 21 damage.
21.
Yes.
Was that Herna that was attacking?
Yes.
Herna comes in attacking at this downed mammoth, and with a final swipe of the claws, you feel the form shift beneath you, as Vi returns back to her human form.
All right. So I will yet again attempt to get a legitimate grapple, and as opposed to doing the arm bar, I'm gonna take Forge Fane and kind of get behind her and try to get the shaft across her neck. That is a 26 on my athletics.
So roll for fun. She puts up a good fight with a 19, but it's not enough.
And I will just say, give up. We do not wish to end you. Let's see what she says.
She's spitting, like breathing heavily, sort of spitting out as you've got her sort of barred in. She's just, let me go, dwarf. Release me. Just checking something that doesn't work. What does that? Just can't do that. I can't do those either. I already burned up all the legendary actions. So, Talmud, it is your turn.
Okay.
She's fighting against Thorgarn, who has her pretty firmly restrained on the ground.
Has her altitude changed at all? Looking out the hole?
You're gonna look out the hole?
Yeah.
Give me a perception check.
That's a 21.
You look out the hole and you see still the clouds reflecting, just wisps of cloud reflecting the aurora. You can actually see somewhere down below. How far, you're not sure, but you know it's hundreds of feet that you are up. You can just make out the lights of Bryn Shander down below. You assume is Bryn Shander based on the direction you're going and the size of it. Which means not only are you super high up, but this thing is hauling butt across the sky.
Right.
You also see, as you're looking through, you see a shadow momentarily block out some of the light of Bryn Shander down below. probably about 100 feet below you, you see, how big you can't tell, but big enough, you see a massive bird flying through the sky, and you see a small figure perched between its wings as this large bird is banking upward toward the castle. That's what you see as you look down through the hole.
We have company. Company's coming. I don't know who it is, but they're on a big bird.
Are you making fun of Rolo?
What?
You making fun of me?
What's funny?
Okay.
Are you going to take any actions, Talmud?
I mean, yeah, he's gonna move over to Vi and bop her on the head with non-lethal damage.
Okay.
You have my TP. All right, so yeah. I'm sure this will end well. That's a 21 to hit.
That's a hit.
Should not read the chat. Shit. It ruined me. All right, and then a 29 on the second one. So I'm gonna do subdual rage damage.
You're just going to walk up to her and just bop her, just double tap her on the head?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, does he have advantage?
Yeah.
I rolled with advantage.
Yeah, you should
Oh wait,
re-
that's right. You're
Yeah,
part-
you yeah. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I was attacking recklessly, but yeah, either way. Okay, so that is 17 points from the first one. And the second one is going to be 15 points.
Night night.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
You hit her pretty hard, but you're also striking embedded Chardolin crystals. She doesn't lose consciousness, but you see her. You hit her pretty hard while she's locked up in this hold. She looks up at you, Talmud, with this sort of spectral visage of Meepo. And she says, Meepo, who's coming? Is it her?
Big Bird, but Big Bird wasn't alone. It had a rider. Someone riding on the back of it. Like this.
And he starts like flapping his arms and like running around in circles.
Oh, Rio's come. She will destroy you. Unless you can beat her. I need to stop her. And, I gotta check something with the restrained condition. No, I'm gonna say she can't do that. You got her pinned pretty darn good. She is going to where is it? I thought I had that. She is going to... Hold on, I want to do a thing. It's going to be cool.
I believe you.
She is going to summon something. Nope, she can't do that either because you got her pin. Let me go, dwarf. Let me go so we can face the Frostmaiden. It's too late.
You submit yourself afterwards?
I will make no promises of the future, only for now. Let me go now, and I will strengthen you for the fight to come.
I looked the Cantriel and Talmud.
How rough
It's not
is she?
home at the moment, so
Well, I understand that Talmud's not in control of himself. What is on Cantriel's visage? What is she saying?
You can fight her now. With me pinned beneath this dwarf. And some of you bleeding and wounded. Or you can let me strengthen you for the fight to come. We can still take her down together. And then deal with whatever comes next afterward.
Let her up. We had no hope of facing Oriel the last time. Very little has changed.
Or you can let her rip this castle from the sky, and we will all plummet to our deaths.
Cantriel will finally move over and walk over to Vi and get down and look her very closely in the eye. We agree to this, but just remember, look where you ended up. And we weren't even completely ourselves and fully charged. Cross us again, and we make no guarantees. Deal?
Make an intimidation check.
Oops.
What? How many dice do I need to put in jail tonight?
All of them, apparently.
I keep rolling. Every die I grab, I seem to be rolling 4s and 5s.
Okay, that's a 17.
Yeah, that beats her 6.
Oh, cool.
She just looks at you.
I would imagine.
Understood.
Imagine she looks at Cantriel, and there's this moment of the two of them locked in a stare, and in that moment, Thorgarn, removes the weapon from across her chest and throat, and she is locked and doesn't even realize that I let go, and she's about to say all right, let me go, and that's when she realizes that I already have.
The hand releases her as well.
As you all release her, she doesn't so much stand up as the vine cape that comes from out of her back sort of rises her up to her feet. She quickly turns and walks the remaining few feet towards the hole and looks down. Our best bet is going to be to face her outside on the top of the castle. But first, and she makes a gesture and utters something, and you see you see out of one of the vines, in fact, I would say out of one of the vines on the floor, you see several small vines sort of rise up and begin to coalesce in this sort of vine topiary, taking on the shape of a wolf that then steps forward. And you can see flowers blossoming all across this wolf. The wolf begins to walk among you. And it is going to, as it walks past all of you, it is going to heal you, as she has cast Healing Spirit at 7th level. Which she can do a number of times. I'm going to say she's going to do it. So first will be 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 22, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 22, 35, 36, 7. She's going to heal everybody 40 points of damage. As this wolf begins to walk amongst all of you. And then she says, "Come with me," and begins leading towards the elevator shaft with all the vines in it. Does everybody follow her to the shaft?
Yes.
Jake, when we fought her last time, were there any fear effects?
When you fought
Ariel?
Were there any what?
Were there any
effects?
Yeah. Did we
I
get
don't remember
frightened of her?
I don't remember being frightened. I remember getting the crap stunned out of us.
Stunned, okay. I thought something happened, and I'm just looking at if we've got time to prepare, what kind of spells do we have on our own list?
So here's what's going to happen. We're going to do a little narrative bit here to set up for the ending. And you basically have whatever you can do in the space of a couple of minutes. Once you see her coming at you, you'll be able to prepare between now and the next time. So as you all move to where this shaft is, Vi steps forward and her cloak spreads out and hundreds of tiny vines stretch out and basically spider climb her up this elevator shaft. Vines wrap gently around each of you, except for Rolo, who can fly. And they propel you upward, handing you off rapidly a couple 100 feet up this chimney shaft, handing you from one vine to the next to the next. You see this silhouette as suddenly the large steel doors at the top are thrown open. You see the silhouette of Vi momentarily with the aurora above her, and then she disappears. Moments afterwards, each of you are deposited out of this this chimney and placed up on the very top of Sunblight. You can see where what was once parts of the mountain and where this chimney is sort of at an angle. It looks like the ice has been mostly sheared off of the top of this. The top of Sunblight is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, about 70 feet wide and about twice as long. You are standing on top of a very rapidly moving castle that is flying through the air. The wind is whipping around you, and it is extremely cold up here, but all of you have taken either have natural resistances or have extreme cold weather gear. And then you see and you hear this sort of as right up in the distance you see rising this massive bird. Anybody can make a nature check. Cantriel, you can do so with advantage. And perched on the shoulders behind it, you see the owl-headed form of Auriel, the Frostmaiden, on the back of this bird.
I got a 16.
10.
25.
Cantriel, you know without a doubt, and Rollo, you recognize this as well, that this massive bird is a rock. An all-white rock that is flying to meet you, and you have about 2 minutes to prepare whatever you can prepare as Auriel the Frostmaiden is coming to battle you on top of Vi's moving castle. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Crap! I would love to have more spells going into this fight.
Well, at least we know that Auriel is a fan of music.
There we go.
This is some Game of Thrones level allegiance shifts.
So
The enemy of my enemy is my friend for now. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Next week you are going to face off against Auriel, and it will be quite the battle.
I honestly thought we were going to do it in the other order, but you know, hey. It's cool.
Well, we'll see what happens and how long this truce lasts, and what happens in the coming battle. We'll be back next Thursday for episode 24. Just trying to think of what's happening in the meantime. Be sure to tune in on Monday nights. We have at 8 p.m. we have our brand new campaign, Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries. We just finished our third session of that this past Monday. Having a blast with that campaign as well. So come check us out there. Yeah, thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. We had so many awesome people in chat hanging out. Thank you for the subs and the cheers and everything else. We greatly appreciate that. And if you're lurking quietly in the background, we appreciate you just as much. We hope you enjoy as we have fun playing, and you get to come along on the journey with us every week. So yeah, thank you to everybody who tuned in, and of course, as always, a huge thank you to Dan, V, Katie, Ted, and Jeremy, without whom it would be me talking to myself for 3 hours. And with that, we are going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want. Metadata.